think the most exciting thing to me and GroupM as well today is what's happening across the media data and tech ecosystem related to convergence across all types of video buying. 10 years ago, for example, people were watching Saturday Night Live in linear. 8 years ago, they were watching it time shifted on their TiVo or their DVR. 4 years ago, they were watching the full episode on Hulu. Now they're watching 3 or 4 sketches the next morning on YouTube. That's a television audience that's migrated to a non-traditional television format and should be treated as a television audience and funded out of a television, or even better, a converged video budget. And I think one of the most exciting things is the advent of planning tools, buying tools, and measurement tools that make our job as agency people easier to prove to our clients on why that needs to be their new model, that converged video budget, and let us take that singular audience and find them everywhere equally across all premium video touchpoints.
Do you think that the planning tools of today are ready for the challenge of the platforms and the data and all the pieces that are necessary to be successful?
I think we're getting better on that front. Traditionally, a lot of the planning tools have also been execution and measurement tools. You have companies out there that are doing that planning, buying, and measurement workflow that doesn't work as well for us as a modern media agency. We want to be able to assemble the right planning tool with the right buying tool, with the right measurement tool, based on the needs of that campaign and that client. Not every client is trying to sell toothpaste, so not every client can be measured the same way. So having that interoperability between a really strong planning tool and a really strong buying tool and a really strong measurement tool is what we as GroupM are looking for.
Talk to us about the barriers that you're seeing today. Some have been begun to be broken down. What are you seeing and how are you addressing them?
Yeah, I think the biggest barrier is, there's 2 barriers actually. There's the external factors barrier. How do we structure the deals with partners, both on the media supply and the data tech ecosystem, that makes sense for what we're looking to accomplish? And then you have the internal barriers. In order to implement a strategy like this and really lean in heavily on that convergence of video, we need to reinvent how we as an agency are planning and buying and measuring, which means that we need to reinvent the structures of our team to better match up with how the media sellers want to engage with us, how our clients want to engage with us, and how we can best service our clients by engaging with the media ecosystem in a way that makes sense.
You often talk about the importance of audience strategy, one-to-many, and all that. How does that factor into this?
Audience strategy remains front and center in everything that we're doing around converged video. We don't want to be in a world where there's a linear budget, a digital budget, a streaming budget. It's an audience budget, and because people aren't just watching linear and digital and streaming, they're moving in and out of those things, either between different network groups or different types of shows, or now that the world is opening up again, on the train, out of home with video viewing, not necessarily out of home, but viewing video on the road. All of that is television consumption. It's, we're still in a time-based environment. There's 24 hours in a day. There's still 5.5 hours a day of premium video content being consumed by a user. That's not changing. How they consume that content is changing. And being able to look at that at scale and find that audience across all touch points is critical.
So we're heading into the upfront, and you're in various stages of testing and learning and operationalizing many of the key aspects of what will bring us into the future. Share a little bit about how you see this next iteration of the upfront playing out.
We're still going to be transacting with everybody who we've transacted with in the past. The major networks obviously are still driving the lion's share of premium video impressions, as well as the major digital guys out there driving the lion's share of digital impressions. We need the flexibility and the fluidity to not have to lock ourselves into just linear or just digital in order to secure our clients the best preferential rates and access to supply and technology enablement. We want to make sure that once we get briefed on a campaign, we may change our campaign strategy. We're still going to be buying from who we plan to buy from. It's how those ads get onto the screen in front of those viewers that may change, and we really need the networks to align with us on that flexibility.
So this is year 2 of that model.
This is year 2 of that model.
Scale. Do you think you're going to get better at it this year?
Yeah, we got really good at it last year, and this is something that's really front and center as we enter this year's upfronts.
Got it. You are very respectful of the role of sellers and the sell side in the industry. What are your observations of how the media companies, the sell side, are talking to the agencies, to your agency about the new world, and what are your suggestions on how they could continue to help this process move along?
I think agencies need to be hiring more ad tech people who have either publisher or media data and tech ecosystem sales and BD experience, who understand the landscape and can be that bridge between the traditional media practitioners who are so good at figuring out who to target, how to target them, why to target them, and how to get the ads onto the screen, but bring that technology mindset into it and be able to recommend, hey, here's a better way to optimize our reach or to bring things together. And in order to do that, we need to not just have that muscle inside of GroupM with more ad tech experience, but work better with the ecosystem, who are the ones who are driving that innovation, who are creating new, what I would call open source tools that everyone has access to, that they bring to us. And then it's our job as GroupM to figure out how we take those off the shelf tools, make them work in our own workflows, and make them work even better for our clients.
So 2 final questions. So Mike, a year from now, if you were to look back on the year we're about to go into, what do you think are going to be the main wins, and what do you think the future challenges will be for our industry?
I think the main win we're going to see over the next year is more of a percentage of an upfront commitment being fluid, like I talked about, and going to that audience first, delivery second mentality. I think that is going to be the biggest win for our industry over the next year or two. I think one of the challenges there obviously is how do we reinvent something that's been done the same way year after year, and that's really what having the ability to be more nimble with our budgets opens up for us, because we're still able to make the commitments we've been making to the media sellers. We're just doing it in a way that aligns better with what the modern viewer looks like.